Hopefully you guys can hear me. Um, let's do our intros. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Once again. And yeah, so I'm gonna actually tag him later on or after this video post, but this is somewhat a response to just a lot of conversations actually. Sarge Willie Pete, um this is a conversation specifically towards Sarge Willie Pete, right? This is also about Jason Black's stream that is going on now. Actually, this is somewhat of the conversation with about Jess Pearly. I'm not speaking about Jess Pearly, but Black women's reaction to Jess Pearly. Um, yeah. So like, yeah, women want power. So let's start it off with Sarge Willie Pete and him speaking about women want power, but also the ramifications of wanting that power or having that power, and then deeming the majority of men not worthy, and kind of how that screws you, right? So also we have, um, rest in peace, Aisha. I'm not gonna go in on her. For those of you that don't know who Aisha is, that was the very petite, slim sister off of the Grapevine that passed away a couple years ago. Um, yeah, so Sarge Willie Pete mentioned her, and I remember the episode that he's speaking about vividly, where essentially Carl did check her and essentially say like, there's men like the ones that are not attempting to be alphas and the ones that will let you lead. There are men like that, and Sarge Willie Pete didn't mention it, or at least as far as I got in his video, he didn't mention it. But like, it wasn't just Aisha, because Aisha did comment on that and say something like, and like Sarge said, like, every man I've ever dated was like, on some alpha stuff and da 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 da. But also, it was other women's reaction to it, and I think Uchechi there? I don't know why, but like it was other women's reaction to Carl's statement also that was very interesting. And what I got from their reaction is these women don't want domesticated dogs. They want to break wolves, right? They don't want domesticated dogs, right? They don't even want a domesticated golden retriever. They want to break wolves and wild dogs, right? And that's what I found. They want to break wolves, they want to break coyotes, they want to break foxes, right? They want to break wild African dogs. They want to break they want to break the men that all the other women want, right? That's what's interesting about, what Sarge was talking about. And so when we talk about women wanting power, they want power, but then when they have it, that like they're instantly turned off by so many men, right? It's like a catch-22, at least from the outside looking in. I'm not a woman. I don't have ovaries. I don't have an inordinate amount of estrogen running through my veins, right? But from the outside looking in, what it seems is women want power up until they get it, and then now they're screwed. Because so many men instantly become unattractive to them, and then they got to deal with the consequences of that. Number one. But number two, and Sarge says this, and we say this all the time in the Black manosphere and all across the manosphere, then they don't want the accountability of that power, right? And that's what you hear some of these like and it's a handful of them, by the way. I just want to stress that. It's a handful of these actual feminists that speak about some real equality, right? And those women will say like, look, ladies, if we want these positions, then we got to be prepared for what comes with them, right? And what's interesting is listening to all the women that are like, no, right? We want egalitarianism when it comes to competing in the workforce. Actually, they want preferential treatment, but we're not even going to go there. We want egalitarianism. We want something egalitarian in the workforce. We want something egalitarian for labor around the home. But we don't want egalitarian when it comes to our spouse. We don't want to pay equal amount of bills, right? And like, there's a consequence to all of that, right? There's a consequence to that. Once again, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Super chats will be read out loud. And, you know, listening to Sarge speak, he was 100% right about Aisha's reaction. And like, y'all hear Mr. Z say this all the time. Like, it's interesting to see college educated women, like Ivy League and second tier school attending, some PhD women, like not PhD, like not on Grapevine, if I'm not mistaken, none of those women were PhD, but nonetheless, listening to these women speak and like how ignorant they are about their own preferences. And it's so, it reminds me of what Dr. Chantel Bugs was saying. Like, they're like not self-aware. And like, I don't even, what do you do with a group of people that's attempting to sabotage you? They despise you. They're attempting to get power, but then they're not even self-aware. It's like you gave a child an AK-47. It's like literally, it's like child rebel soldiers walking around with AK-47s, doing whatever elite white men say. Right? Murking stuff, not aware of like even where they play in the larger ramification of things, thinking they know what they're doing. To a certain extent, they're doing some of these things out of spite, but then not even realizing how that echoes out even in their own life. Because they don't care about what it does to your life. Quiet as kept, they don't even care what it does to the majority of black women's lives. But then they're not even aware enough of how they end up screwing themselves in the long run. Which I can actually tie into Jason Black's stream, speaking about Lala, right? Right? Iverson's ex-wife. And I'm just like, women, if you want this power, you have to eat what comes with it. And that's when crap hits the fan. You want the social power. You want, the elite are using you. Elite white men and even some elite white women are using y'all as the buffer class between them and all the masses of working class men who they actually fear. They do not fear you, clearly. Clearly. Right? And yet, you're playing this role, and all of the fallout from that, now you have a problem. No, eat what comes with this. You want to play that role. So either eat the box or like be single or like share the top 20% dude. It's that simple. Right? Then you got sisters mad about Jess Pearly being in the space. Is she really even? Y'all gave the civil rights movement to white women, and y'all mad about one white woman in this space? If she's even in this space? Right? And hopefully you guys can hear me. Let me know if y'all are getting like that staticky background from a few videos ago, so I can unplug my phone from the plug, you know. But yeah, so, you know, and this is somewhat of a mishmash, but I'm using the Sarge Willie Pete to kind of lead into. But if women want power, and I think what's beautiful about these interwebs in this social media space is like all of women exposing themselves and their want for power all through the interwebs, and like the ramifications of that in the long run. See, it's hard, it's difficult for some of these feminists and some of these intersectional feminists, and some of these women are victims of men in perpetuity, forever and ever. It's difficult for them to continue to make their arguments with what women are saying on the interwebs now, and how they show you that they get off using men, playing men, disrespecting men, insulting men, right? They're showing you and they're telling you that they get off on doing it. They're telling you that I can never admit to my boyfriend that he's right. I can never, like, not even just that, like even in the workspace, in home life, in professional life, they're telling you this. And it's made it so difficult, even though these people think they're not still doing it, making it so difficult for these people to continue to defend these things, these intersectional feminists, Because the women that don't know how to play coy, or the ones that didn't get the memo, or the ones that refuse to play coy, like on like shoving men's faces in the disrespect, it makes it difficult to continue to act like these women are just like in perpetuity victims of men, right? It makes it difficult to make that argument, right? And there's so much social and political ramifications that come from that. It's not just a pop culture thing. If you tie with what we're saying in the Black manosphere, in particular, with what Richard Reeves is saying, and what Scott Galloway is saying, and what Dr. T. Hassan Johnson is saying, and what Army Osei Frimpong is saying, right? Especially when shout out to the Funky Academic, when he said his mom pretty much said, like, I just got divorced from your dad because it was the thing to do. When you tie everything, I want people to understand what we're doing here. And this is tying to BGS talking about policy earlier. Yes, some brothers come into this space to vent about the women. Some of the brothers stay in this space to vent about the women. But other brothers are in here to talk about bettering Black men. Politically, socially, economically, right? This is more than just venting about the women. And on the fringes, you're seeing the conversation. One, how much it's affecting white men and their sons. That's why y'all heard me make that video about how does it feel now, white dudes? You thought all you working class white men thought you were exempt from this. Welcome to hell. Y'all thought y'all was gonna ride the coattails of the elite white racist men forever. And now they didn't cut y'all off, and now they're using your sisters and your mothers and your aunts and your nieces and your own daughters against you. Huh? Right? But because this system realizes it needs to bring in more men, there are Black men that are going to benefit from this. We need that we're in position with the 14-point plan and other things to benefit from this society saying, yeah, we need to bring more men in. Right? And that includes Black men, most specifically Black men. There was a question that was asked, and I saw that super chat. I'm going to read it in a minute when I get to a light. My apologies. There was a question that was asked. I want to say it was either Art Newstyle's channel or was it Roger's channel? It was one of the channels. And I said, and I don't know if y'all remember me saying this, is maybe last week I said this, if not the week before. It's going to be Black men that drag this country kicking and screaming into what it said it is on paper. Not Black women, not white women, not white men, not Latinas, not Latinos, not Asian men, not Asian women, both South and East Asians, not indigenous. It's going to be Black men in particular, ADOS, FBA, and then the rest of us that's with it too, background, immigrant background. It's gonna be us that drag this country kicking and screaming. It's not gonna be anyone else, because and I'm gonna say this and I don't care who I offend, everybody else is fighting to be white. That's why I made that video last night. Everybody else is fighting to be white. They're not fighting for justice. Their definition of freedom is to be white. Their definition of justice is to be white, and all the injustice that white men in particular, or white elite men, get away with. So tying that to the power and women wanting power, women of color in particular want the power of white men and the ability to play damsel in distress and weakling of white women. They want to play plausible deniability of white women, but they want the power of white men. Everybody is trying to play that game, including Black women. And the only group of people that never get to play that game, like ever, are black men. In comparison to every other group in America, that's the one game you don't get to play. As a group, you don't get to play the power game, and you don't get to play the plausible deniability game. Not with white men, not with white women, not with black women, not with Latino men, not with Latinas, not with East or South Asian men or women, not with indigenous folks. Not with Arabs. Name all the races and ethnicities in America, all the dozens or thousands or however. Right? And that gives us a particular view of the world. See, intersectionality flipped this the wrong way, and everybody's starting to see it. The ones on the fringes are speaking it just a little bit. Shout out to Richard Reeves. Right? I just want everybody to know. Everyone sees it. This is kind of speaking to what BGS was speaking about earlier when he was speaking about the Hotep space and you know, the Black Power space, and everybody see, all the brothers seeing the effery going on with the women, but he's not allowed to say it. That's why he's in this space. Right? And excuse my background, y'all know I'm driving. I'm about to go over train tracks in like all of 5 seconds. So, you know, train tracks in a minute. Right? Right? So like, you know, oh, here we go right now. Train tracks. And shout out to the person that said it ain't a real Mr. Z video if you don't take a 20-second pause and say train tracks. It's true. Right? It's funny because it's true. But yeah, so these are the things that we're not, like, you know, necessarily honest about. Women want power. Modern women want power, but they want to be special and equal at the same time. They want to be special and equal simultaneously. And the system doesn't know what to do with that. Especially when your men are like, all right, bet, I'm just going to become indifferent. I'm taking my ball and going home. The system doesn't know what to do with so many men just deciding to not engage. Right? They don't know what to do with so many men saying, all right, you can have that. And like Mr. Z says, all right, cool. Fight for the top 20%. Right? Share the top 20%, maybe the top third. Or eat the box. Right? Shout out to Dr. Trey33. And he says, Sub-Z, it seems like an internal war between biology and processed societal propaganda, which inevitably confuses and distorts their desired outcomes. Yeah, brother, exactly. Brother, exactly. And I think that's the disjunction that Dr. Chantel Buggs saw, that she didn't want to acknowledge what it was. Y'all been socializing women to be open to bisexual men, to be open to being the lead financial provider, to be open to at most a gynocratic kind of matriarchal kind of situation, or at least something egalitarian. And what you're seeing is the fallout of that. And y'all don't really know how to assess that. So many of the society just doesn't know how to assess women saying, I'm of this financial position and I still want higher. I can literally take care of myself, but I still want up. So they want the power, but then they still want a man more powerful than them. But then they want that man that's more powerful than them to adhere to their rules, but on an on and off switch. Right? And like, it's something that we're screaming from the mountaintops, especially in the Black manosphere. And so much of society is, you know, plugging their ears with their fingers and pretending like they don't hear us. And the ones of them that acknowledge that they hear us are saying like we're sexist, misogynist pigs. Because they refuse to listen to what their daughters are saying. Your daughters are saying it. Your daughters are saying it. Before we even get to black daughters, especially your white and black daughters in America, oh, they're screaming it. They spent 2 years on a middle-aged black man show saying it to you. They were calling it from around the Western world, calling into Kevin, telling you, hell no. Not no, but hell no. They want power, right? They just don't want anything that comes with it. They don't want none of the accountability that comes with it. And we refuse to own that as an overall society. And the Black manosphere in particular, we're talking about it. And we're talking about the fallout of being in a community with women who have been socialized that their men are lesser, but their men must still provide and protect. But let her lead. Right? Let her lead. Right? And all the fallout of that. And white society's kind of experiencing that now too. So if you want the power, you can have it. Like I said, you're trying to break wolves. You're trying to domesticate wolves. There's plenty of golden retrievers out here, right? And German shepherds. There's plenty of them out here. You don't want them, or you'll be with them for a while. There's poodles. There's chihuahuas. There's different terriers. Nah, but you want to break a wolf. Right? And shout out to Sarge, because I remember, like I said, I remember that Aisha. I remember that video vividly of Grapevine when Carl said what he said, which is like, yo, there's dudes that will adhere to what y'all saying. Y'all can have one of these like more beta dudes, and all those women in there got offended by what he said. Because they don't want to consciously think of their men as a beta. Hey, a German Shepherd will rip you apart. A German Shepherd will rip you apart. Don't let them golden retrievers. A golden retriever could do some damage. Y'all still don't really want that though. Maybe when you get older, like super old, like clearly older. Nah, you want to break a wolf. You want to break a wolf, right? And that's the part. See, that part, that's the part that so many of them on the Grapevine got offended by when Carl brought it up. I remember that. It's crazy, Sergeant Will. I knew what he was going to say. Once he mentioned Aisha, I already knew what episode he was going to refer to. But that stood out to me. Like, I've been wanting to say that that episode got to be at least, 4 years old now? At least, maybe even 5 years old. And once he mentioned, I knew what he was going to say, and I remembered it clearly from the first time I saw it, because I used to watch their episode like the second it dropped. And I just remember thinking to myself, y'all want to break wolves. Y'all want to domesticate wolves. Right? But that's the power. And like so many men and women in the Black community act like we don't see that. And it's beautiful. And like Sarge said, and I'm backing up, you know, and I should have started it like this before. You ever see like the big dude in the front and like there's another dude behind him and the big dude is talking and somebody behind him is like, yeah. I'm that dude behind Sarge, like, yeah, right? Because what he's saying is 100% correct. Y'all can't make the argument about these like these supreme victims. Black women are just supreme victims of black men, and black women just want kind, caring, loving men, and these men are just leaving them because some Becky done passed us and we ran after Becky, or we ran after Consuelo, right? Or we're leaving the black women for light-skinned black women or racially ambiguous black women. When you have more and more black women in particular saying, no, I want to run this, but I want him to adhere to everything I'm saying until things hit the fan, and then he could take over. For that 1 second that the things hit the fan. Right? Y'all really don't know what to do with that. All right, you guys, give me a second. This is that 20-second pause. All right, you guys, give me a second real quick. Demetrius, you ain't ish. Talking about Popeyes again? No, not Popeyes again. That was funny. No, no, Toya, it's not Popeyes. I look down, y'all selling me out. No, it's not Popeyes. No, no, no. Oh man. But no, yeah, so I mean, Sarge is 100% right. I remember that episode vividly. Once again, rest in peace to the sister Aisha. But she did come all the time with, with that divine feminine stuff, right? Yeah, she came with that divine feminine stuff all the time. And and it's funny because I'm okay. So now that I saw how annoyed the Black Authority is with this talk, also, it's very interesting, right? The manifest talk, the divine black women talk. I thought I was one of the only people, but clearly we're all seeing the same thing. Is like when logic doesn't make any sense, then I'm gonna reach for something spiritual, something bigger than me, something that doesn't have to make sense on this plane, right? I thought I was I know I wasn't the only one. Let me take that back. I know I wasn't the only one, but the annoyance, how annoyed I was by that. I thought I was one of the few men that actually saw this and then described it for what it was and then was annoyed by it. But clearly I'm not, and it's good, and it feels good to be in that type of company with Sarge and the Black Authority when it comes to this one thing at least, right? Right? Which is, you're reaching for something, and human beings, spirituality and religion, that's as old as time, right? Once again, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Super chats will be read out loud. But yeah, so oh my god, this power thing, okay, ladies, you want the power. You want social power, you want political power, you want economic power, you don't want to have to rely on no man. There's nothing wrong with that. But then deal with the consequences of that. Deal with the consequences of men saying, yeah, no, yeah, nah. I'm not signing up for that. I think part of the game, obviously, is also gaslighting men, right? gaslighting men. And gaslighting working class men in particular, right? To attempt to marry these women and make something happen out of this, knowing that the divorce rate for these guys is some 50+%. Right? The divorce rate for working class men is some 50+%. And for black men, it's upwards of what, 70-80%? And we're all pretending like we don't, and women are filing for 70-80% of that. Why do we keep on pretending like we don't know what's going on? This entire society just is continuing to pretend like they don't know what's going on. Right? The women are telling you how much contempt they have for working class men, but we're going to continue to pretend like we don't hear them. And a lot of that is from their newfound power position. And even if it's not their newfound power position individually, it's collective, right? Women living vicariously through the handful of women that really do have some social and political and economic power, both black and white and Latina and Asian. Right? Ladies, there's nothing wrong with you wanting that power. Go ahead. But then eat what comes with that. Eat what comes with valedictorians being women by what, some 80%, 70 something percent. Eat what it means for the 60-40 split on average around the for college entrance. Let me say that better. I was stuttering. Eat what that 60-40 split woman to men in college looks like. If you want the preferential treatment, if you want the power position, then eat everything that comes with that. But y'all are trying to rejigger something and the blocks aren't fitting, and then you're throwing temper tantrums. Right? You're throwing the temper tantrum because you're trying to work out how so many women are going to have like these kind of from elite to like middle management positions, but then still marry and date up, right? But then still have those men kind of bow to their will, except for when something hits the fan. But all of a sudden he has all the manhood of Rambo and he knows exactly what he's doing and how to do it, right? And then also socializing the average man who you want nothing to do with ever to come to your rescue when you're when you're in crisis or in need. But the second you're no longer in need, he needs to like vacate. Spain man. Oh, that's a great comment. That's an economic comment. Spain man says, they're privatizing the gains and socializing the losses. Isn't that what we say about like these corporations and like, right? Especially like post 1975, right? Isn't that what we say about trickle down economics? Shout out to the brother AB Media. He called it pee on me economics, piss on me economics. I'm not about telling anyone in a democratic society you shouldn't be trying to get power. You shouldn't be attempting to get money. You shouldn't be attempting to elevate. That is not I am not, and I'm definitely not about telling women not to do that. Not to go as high and far as you want. But there are consequences to that. Positive consequences, negative consequences. And on a one-to-one level, there's nothing wrong with women wanting this. On an individual level, but which we're seeing, and I want to stress this, 40% of women earn more than their male counterparts. And that's destabilizing everything. So what was the point? If you want this power, and only 40% of you, it's not even half yet, and it's not a majority, 40%, so that's a large minority, have at least the same economics, or better yet, actually better than their male counterparts, 40%. And it's already causing all of this disturbance. And y'all want it to be what, 50%? 60%? Boy, that population is about to fall like a rock. %, and look, y'all can't even deal with it now. Y'all calling men dusties now. Y'all are calling yourselves bisexual until you meet that baller dude now at 40%. And that's for women in general, right? Not even specifically black women. Y'all are eating the box already at 40%. What it's gonna look like when it's 50%? Y'all think y'all sharing those elite dudes now, that top third, definitely that top 20% now? When that income is on parity at 50%, what y'all gonna be on then? And by the way, let's be real, y'all are not really L, y'all are the B. In other words, most of you are not really lesbian, y'all are bisexual, which means you're eating the box until the rich white dude come through, or the ballerific black dude or Latino dude come through. Giggity. If you didn't know what I mean by come through, I'm just saying. You want the power, ladies. There's nothing wrong with that. That's why let me say their names. That I'm clapping like a hood black chick. But let me say their names, right? Let's say that, let's call them out. I want to see what Real Talk with Yanni is going to be saying in a decade. Because they said 45% of women in general are going to be single and childless by 2030. Oh, I hope Real Talk with Yanni is still producing content. Then I want to see what she's talking about then. Where's Paris? Or Paris Milan already told y'all she's trying to make her exit now. What is Chrissy going to be talking about in a decade? Right? Luxury dating? Luxury life? How, Chrissy? The median income for women is not what it don't even break 35,000. The numbers are somewhere between 25 and 35,000. 34,000, excuse me. Huh? That's the median income for women in general, not just black women. For black women, it's closer to what, 30, 28? Before we control for race is 34,000. So all that luxury stuff y'all talking, what luxury at around $35,000 a year? What, maybe one or two nice bags that you spent your tax money on? Right? Once again, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Super chats will be read out loud. Right? If you want this power, cool. Comes with ramifications and consequences. And I'm trying to find another word that doesn't have like this negative tinge to it, because I'm not really attempting to say you get what you get, although you do get what you get, right? But it's difficult because these particular content creators, the Real Talk with Yannis, the Parises, the Chrissies of the world, they're like, and like I separate Chrissy a little bit from this. What I'm describing, right? Because I think she knows better, and that's why there's certain things she doesn't say that I hear Paris and Yanni say that let me know Chrissy really does know better, right? And she's doing this for the money, for real. Like me and 18th Letter keep on telling you, and Meech keeps on telling y'all, Chrissy for real is doing this for the money. I give her no respect. She even got a series coming out, or if it's not already out, about, you know, these women luxury dating and dating different races of men and blah, blah, and, you know, et cetera, right? And all that is selling her subscribers what they want to hear and gaslighting them. Because Chrissy, you know better. You know the vast majority of those women are not living that life. But Paris and Yanni, if they do know the numbers, they're doing a really good job. They're like Oscar nominees for pretending that they don't and gaslighting their subscribers anyway. Right? They are profiting. Like BGS said earlier, they are profiting off of the misery. And y'all done heard me say that a million times. They profiting off of the misery of their subscribers. Oh, they're profiting off of the misery of their subscribers. They're gaslighting their subscribers. They're giving them rage porn. They're giving them optimism porn. Or should I call it hope porn? Not even optimism. Because there's nothing wrong with being optimistic. They're giving them hope porn. And rage porn. Obviously, black men ain't ish porn. That's part of the rage porn. Right? Ladies, if you want this power, then deal with what it comes with. And what it's going to come with for a lot of women, black women in particular, because that's who we care about, is single, childless, miserable, pretending like you're not. Stop it. We have sisters, we have black sisters, black mothers, black aunts, black nieces, black cousins. Y'all could stop pretending like we don't know that y'all crying yourselves to sleep. Stop it. Right? Y'all want this power, that's cool. But it comes with a social, like, I think this is like, I'm so angry at white elite men that destroyed what could have been coming out the civil rights movement, coming out the labor rights movement. What they did was ingenious by writing white women into the civil rights movement and then destroying the world with it. Because now you got these hyper individualistic people, generally speaking, including women, who don't even know how society moves and works. These Ayn Rand wannabe ass women. The me, my. Then you wonder why so many of your, screw it, you don't care about your sons, fine. Your sons don't matter. Your sons are just here to be worker bees or worker ants. Cool. But then you wonder why so many of your women under that 80% mark are miserable. Definitely under that top third mark. I said bottom 80. The bottom 80 and the bottom 66. The bottom 2/3. Right? Y'all screwed the world with this. It was genius, by the way. Using women as a buffer class. That way when we come in for your neck, we got to go through them first. And it's going to make us seem all type of sexist, misogynist. And then they're none the wiser. They really think we care about them and their labor. We don't care about y'all. Y'all are in the way. Because whatever crumb of power you got, which is really just the power to block working class men from getting at elite men. I just want you to know, elite men put you there literally just to guard the gate. Real talk with Yanni. Paris Milan, Chrissy, name them. Lexus, all you Divester, Swirler, adjacent, all of you white, black, Latino, Asian feminists, all you're there for is to guard the gate for the same elite men that you keep on railing against, that you secretly want to be with, by the way. All those elite white dudes that you claim that working class men want to be, but you want to be with. Yeah, you're only here to, which by the way, bites most of y'all in the rear end in the long run. That's the funny part. Your power is literally just for you to guard the gate. Those dudes don't even marry y'all in any significant number. They still marry their elite women up there in the top 20%. Every once in a while, they come off of Mount Olympus and have sex with y'all, and then put you right back on the field to guard the gate. That's what all you working class white women, you Latina women, definitely you black women, and even some of you Asian women. What's going on, Giyogami? Giyogami says, greetings to Mr. Z and all. Your power position isn't even enough power to challenge them. Look how long Bill O'Reilly was doing what he was doing at Fox News before he got taken down. Weinstein, right? Name them. Right? Name them. Right? What power do you really have? You got the power to hurt working class men? That power? Right? Look how many of y'all, look how long Weinstein was doing what he was doing. What's the dude from what NBC was doing what he was doing? Les Moonves? Or is that CBS? With your Asian wife who snatched you from another woman. Right? CBS, thank you, Toya. Right? If you want this power, ladies, fine, you have it. That's, by the way, that particular comment is not just for black women. You want to be gatekeeper? You want to be gatekeeper for elite white men? Praying and hoping that one day one of these dudes will pick y'all up? Fine. But deal with the consequences of having an ever decreasing number of men on that level. And a growing number of women playing buffer class. I guess y'all will be with each other. Occasionally have sex with some of the working class men while drooling over the elite men and wanting them. And every once in a while, they come off of Mount Olympus, do what they do with you, and then drop you back with you hoping. And them knowing you're hoping that they'll stay. By the way. Right? Right? So shout out to Sarge William Pete. Obviously, shout out to BGS. Shout out to the Black Authority, Jason Black. The conversation we're having about power, black women wanting this power, other women wanting this power, but then not wanting to deal with the consequences of having this power. And I don't mean that in a negative way. You just got to own, you say you wanted something more egalitarian, well, you got it. Right? Shout out to Giyogami. Giyogami says a French analyst said the same thing about feminism in Europe. It was used to counterclass clash workers and middle class had against the elites and prevent the revolution. I mean, It's becoming more and more clear, but the women can't get off of it. There's nothing wrong with that. Cool. But then deal with the consequences. You know? Deal with the consequences. You know? What's the French dude name? Piketty? Right? Capital in the 21st century, I think. What's going on, Art New Style? I'm about to shut it down in a minute. Art, catch the replay. Actually, you could maybe make a stream about this, right? So, you know, I'm about to close out. Thanks for being in here, y'all. But if women want this social power, there's nothing wrong with that. We live in a free country. We live in a democratic country, right? Women are the larger voting bloc. There's nothing wrong with them wanting a certain amount of political power, social power, and economic power. I mean that. I mean that. But then there's consequences to you voting in certain things, to you advocating for certain things for your daughters, and then your daughters still want a certain level of male leadership or male patriarchy, so they say, which more and more is just looking like they want the crash test dummy or the cleanup man. But you're so lopsiding the game, your sons can't even be the cleanup man for your daughters. You're so self-interested, it's not even working in that way, right? That's the sucky part. You don't even understand how a society works where you can even use working class men as the fallback plan. You know, and that's what happens when you're that self-interested. And when you're that selfish, and when you're that myopic, and when you're that solipsistic. Rest in peace, or something else, to Ayn Rand. Right? Atlas shrugged. All right. Right? All right. What about if Atlas are men? What happened when men shrug? I don't even think we should sabotage and destroy the machines. No, we don't even have to do that. Just become indifferent. You don't got to destroy everything on your way out. No need. You want to run this? Fine. Here's the manual. I'm walking away. I think we should even give them the manual. We don't got to destroy stuff like in the book. Nope. Right? And I'll truly pause right there. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. Thanks for being in here. To everyone that's in here, shout out to Art New Style and Gilgami and Toya and GC and everybody else in here. Mr. Donnie Mac, Detroit, right? Spain Man, Indigo. I'm trying to make sure I catch all of you guys' names, right? Demetrius, Detroit. I think I got everybody. If I missed your name, or Carlton, I'm sorry, brother. You was in here early, right? And definitely Dr. Tree, right? All right, y'all. Have a good rest of y'all night. I will pause right there, right? And there's nothing wrong with power, but then with great power comes great responsibility. I mean, we got superhero movies telling y'all this. I'm just saying. Right? With great power comes great responsibility. Miss Parker. Right? I was about to say Miss Peter Parker. I'm saying some of y'all do want to be Miss Peter Parker. Mr. Peter Parker. I'll just pause right there. I meant that the way I said it. Mr. Peter Parker. With great power comes great responsibility. I'm just saying. Shout out to you, K. Dot. I'm out of here. I'll pause right there. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. Mr. Z out.